I've been away recently to the Shine seminars. Now, they're a fantastic thing. I don't know if you've heard of them or if you've been there. They're down at in Gloucestershire. It's lovely down there in the West Country. It's set up with a number of marquees with lots of different speakers giving seminars. There's workshops as well, all sorts of things. It's been held at least once a year, and I think there are plans to hold it twice a year because it's an incredible uplifting experience for those people who are searching for truths, looking for answers, and interested in alternative health. Anyway, the Shine seminars, as I say, was down there. It was absolutely brilliant, and if you happen to be there and came along, I just want to say hello again. It was lovely to meet all those people face to face. A lot of people say, you know, it's interesting to see their people they watch on YouTube, because sometimes, you know, it makes it so much more personal when they see them face to face. And I was watching a number of the wonderful seminars and taking in as much information as I could so that I can cogitate on that a little bit and share my thoughts and interpretations with you. There was one chap, very interesting bloke, and he was searching for solutions to escape the corporate world. And I think that's something that we all want to do, don't we? We want to get out of this big corporate world in which the dead entities of the corporates, the government, which is also a dead entity, very much so with the new government coming in there, that a lot of the people in the government do seem like zombies, to be honest with you. But anyway, that's just my personal opinion, and you may well disagree. But these corporations, which are just a concept really on a bit of paper, that need real people to actually operate it, they seem to be taking over the world. We've seen how the high street is dominated with the same names, the chains, that all the small little family-run businesses or the sole traders are slowly being pushed away or bought out. And so you end up with these great big companies that are owned by another big company, and then they're owned by another big company, and it's sort of, you know, there's an umbrella of this company or a division of that corporation, and it seems to go on. And it seems to me that these corporations, they really only serve perhaps the directors of these companies, you know, the CEO and the board, and then the shareholders, and last of all, if anyone, the customers, and then the actual employees. But anyway, please excuse me. So it was wonderful. Now, this chap who was talking about escaping the corporate realm and looking for solutions to get out of that, he had a number of very simple ideas, and then he had a few sort of more advanced ideas. And I thought, well, perhaps I should do this in 2 stages. And I made some notes, you see. So I thought I'd read out some of the notes that I took of his very basic things, because these are the ones he said that we probably ought to be doing easily straight away, because these are the things that we can do to break free, at least to start our journey, to build up some confidence and to get away from our reliance on all of these corporations, because we do seem to find that we rely on them, and we need to take back the responsibility for ourselves and do our own thing. So the first one on his list, as I remember it, was get rid of your television. Now, I'm sure a lot of my audience don't have televisions, or if they do, they just watch things like YouTube and various things. Probably the most wholesome element of YouTube, not the frightening ones that try to sort of bring you a different take on the news, which is scary and putting you into fear. That's the other thing. The whole point about the mainstream media and TV is to either tell you what's going to happen, or to guide your thinking and program you, or of course to put you in fear, to get you worrying about things all the time, which is keeping your vibrations low. So get rid of the television, stop watching the nonsense, watch uplifting programs if you can find them, and keep your vibrations high. Separating yourself from that legal name. Now, I've talked about that on my channel many times, about how the capitalization of the name is not actually you. You are the executor and the beneficiary of that name. The trust was set up in your in your given name and your family name, and that the government have basically securitized this. They've effectively made it their system, and they've taken your name, but they want you to think it's your name. So all the time, try and separate and understand that when you get these things in capitalization, it's not me. There's a further stage that we can go to really help to sort of separate ourselves. But I'll go into that on the next bit, which is more advanced. But for the moment, just kind of every time you see that, you just see that capital name. It's not me. It's actually not me. I'm a living, breathing man. And you may be a living, breathing woman, of course. So it's a somewhat different thing. Supermarkets. When I go and do my talks, I do ask the audience, and I say to them, how many people still go to the supermarkets? How many people depend on that? How many people are eating the meat and the veg from the supermarkets, or the ready food? And it's amazing how many people's hands go up and they say, yeah, no, I do. We really have to teach these supermarkets, these big corporations who are dominating the food industry, that actually we're not interested in their food. We don't want the synthetic burgers. We don't want to eat mealworms and cockroaches, thanks very much. We don't want adulterated meats. We don't want more flavouring and preservatives. We actually just want real healthy food, organic food or beyond organic food. Raw milk, which you can't buy in supermarkets, things like that. So in order to do that, we need to go elsewhere. We've got to effectively boycott the supermarkets. Don't go in and have your face recognition done by all the cameras and the surveillance and all of this, and operate with these machines. This is what this chap said anyway, and I think it's a great idea. Go to the farm shops. You might spend a little bit more, but you're supporting family-run businesses rather than these big corporations. So the money isn't going into their pockets, it's going into the local economy, and you're supporting farmers and telling them actually that if they were to improve their range and encourage more people to grow in their farm shops, they could sell more, increase their customer base, and if you can, of course, use cash, so that you're not having to go through the bank. You're using cash, even though at the moment cash is, of course, a fiat currency. Now, wouldn't it be great if we could train up our farm shops and things to deal in little pieces of silver? It's got nothing to do with the bank then. Nobody need know about the transaction. It's between you, and the farm shop takes the silver and accrues it, and then they can either put it in their bank or in their vault. And maybe they can deal with their farmers or other suppliers that might supply some of the other products, locals, like it might be a dairy farm that produces a number of products, but then they might have some bacon and pork products, they might have some vegetables from another local farm, and if they're trading with those in the silver, that would be amazing. It's completely independent. We need that's something I think for the future, but we should be sowing that seed, you know, asking them, would you take silver? You know, it's still legal tender, some of these coins in silver. Would you take silver? Plant the seed to see if they say yes, because they might do, and they may actually jump at the chance. After all, it's not going to lose its value in the way that fiat currency does. So getting off our screens, this is a difficult one for somebody like me who actually produces content that is on a screen. But really and truly, now that I've been demonetized from YouTube and I'm not earning anything from doing this, you know, you could argue that the incentive to make this content has gone away, although I think it's actually important. The money part of it isn't the important thing. I know that many of you have donated, and a big thank you for all those who've donated. I really appreciate it, especially now, because I don't get any money from YouTube. And actually, in one way, that's quite nice, because I feel like I've washed my hands of a big corporation. And it is actually quite liberating, if not quite as financially rewarding. But getting off the screens, getting into the real life, actually interacting with more people, setting up events and parties and going to the pub and celebrating real life, hugging people, being in their company, shaking hands, rather than continual Zoom meetings with people or staying indoors and just watching the telly or being behind screens and just watching content after content after content. We've got to get back into a physical, real world and laugh and sing and dance as much as we can. And so that's another thing, is setting up gatherings with people. Make our own entertainment. Let's not rely on those professionals to make our entertainment. There was a time when people used to get round the piano and they would sing, and they would be amateurs, a bit like the karaoke, but not as a professional event. It was spontaneous. People just made things up. They made up games, board games and things. They didn't have to go and buy ready-made games. They would be inventive. And I think we need to do that. And I agree with the chap who was talking about it. Going more to pubs and cafes and those sort of things. Whatever happened to youth clubs? They disappeared. Maybe we should be bringing them back. Perhaps we are the ones to get a group together to set up a youth club and get kids back in doing things and interacting with one another and getting their ability to not be shy, not be behind screens, get them off their phones and actually have fun, laugh, joke, etc. in real life like we used to do when we were young. The other thing is, you know, the family. The family is the beginning of community. And this was, I thought, a very important point. Meal times at the family. When I was young, we used to gather around the table and we would eat together as a family. These days, families are encouraged, the kids are going upstairs and they're on their own personal PCs or they're on their phone, or they bring the phone to the table. Let's say no, there is this moment, whether it's half an hour as you bring the family together around the table to eat, no phones, no screens, conversation, and enjoy that lovely, specially home-cooked food that you've done. These are ways that we start breaking away on the reliance of the corporations, of those people who are trying to sort of take us away from ourselves and the strength that we have, the magic and the power and our creativity, which is absolutely important. Growing our own food in our gardens, of course, is one that a lot of people have been talking about and trying. And so these are the basic sort of simple things that we could do right now. And I'm going to go and I'll do another video based on some of these other ideas. This chat was very entertaining and I enjoyed it very much. Now, I'm being a bit cheeky here because actually that was my talk, part of my talk that I did at the Shine seminars. And I'm pleased to say it did go down very well. I have got some more advanced things of how to seek solutions away from this corporate world of enslavement and entrapment. And I'll do that on another video very soon. But in the meantime, there's some things that we can easily do right now that isn't really a big problem. And I hope that helps you if you're thinking, how can I do it? Stop using your phone and the apps to park your car. Don't park, for example, on the ones that are forcing you to use that. Those are very simple things. Only use the ones that you put money in. You know, I know it's inconvenient. I know it's inconvenient driving a bit further to the farm shop. But all this stuff that is sending a message to the corporations, to the government, to the councils. We're not interested in your way anymore. We are independent. We can save ourselves. We can look after ourselves. We can make our own entertainment. We're supporting the local pubs that are perhaps family run, the craft beers, for example, rather than the big names and the big brands. They've had their day. They've had their day. Their time is over. It's time for us to be creative, to thrive and enjoy ourselves. Good luck, because I know that you can do it.